Hello, good evening, church family. Welcome to Let Holy Fire Rain Ministries. We have a lot to go over tonight. I'm here tonight with my beautiful wife, Natalie. Hey, Nat, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Okay. We're going over quite a bit of things. We're going to be exposing things and talking about things. But first off, I want to talk about Deuteronomy. If you go with me to Deuteronomy chapter 18, where God is telling Israel to avoid these wicked customs that other nations were doing. And it says, when you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, shall not learn to follow the abomination of those lands. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because of these abominations, the Lord your God drives them out from before you. These things I just mentioned are all abominations to the Lord. Now, you have quite a past because you used to do most of those things I just mentioned, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. So, how did you get into that stuff? Like, how did you? I know we kind of shared your testimony a little bit about how you got into the occult, but like, how did you get into even dream catchers and card reading and things like that?
When I was really sick with Lyme disease, I was so open-minded to anything that would help. Anything that would help me to get better. I became completely open-minded to it because I was so desperate. I was dying, and I don't know how I didn't think Jesus Christ, right? But I didn't.
Hallelujah.
I grew up Catholic and I knew prayer was powerful, and I was just blinded. I was living in the world. I was completely blinded to God. Like, I knew God existed. I just didn't think about him. That's really sad to say now, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So one day, someone had told me to go see this medium lady, this little psychic, and I thought, what do I have to lose? Like, I was dying. I was like, what do I have to lose? I'm gonna go see the psychic lady. So I went and saw her, and we chatted, and she actually told me, you need to go home and renew your relationship with God. She knew that I was a very spiritual person, that I was a really spiritual child, and she's like, you need to fix that relationship. So I really believe God was working through her that day, because I actually did go home and I recommitted my relationship and my life to God. But she was still a medium. It was still an open door. And I ended up going back to her because I was struggling in my home with a lot of poltergeist activity, spiritual activity. And she is the first one who told me to get a card deck. And I got that card deck, and I remember the first time I opened it, something felt like I shouldn't be doing it, but I did it anyway. And what I was doing was opening up a portal in my home, and that's kind of where it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had been getting curious about crystals and gems before that and some other things, but
Now, for some of you who don't know, there are in the spiritual realm, there's heavenly portals and there's demonic portals, and you can open up either one. So in this case, if you have tarot cards or whatever cards you had, she gave you or you got, that would have been a demonic portal having access now to your house.
yeah, I
You just
remember
you
it.
just gave it now a legal right to be there now in your house.
I was in my basement, and I could feel spirits in the room when I opened up that thing and started using it. They were angel oracle cards.
Wow.
And I learned later that those angels are counterfeit archangels. They're demonic fallen angels.
Right.
Maybe principalities, I don't know.
Well, and it's even sad in the church today. You hear of people using angel cards, and you're going, that sounds pretty similar to what you're talking about.
Well, never are we instructed to pray to anyone other than Jesus. He's our
Right.
only intercessor, the
Yep.
Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, God. We don't need to pray to anybody else. If an angel visits you, you can talk to them after testing it, but we don't yeah, you don't.
Even still, it's better just to
Yeah.
talk to
It's better to talk
Jesus.
to the Holy Spirit.
So,
So
two things I want to talk about. First one is dream catchers. Tell us about the dangers of having dream catchers in your home, your car, with your children.
I had nightmares chronic from as young as I can remember into my 20s. Chronic nightmares, night terrors. I couldn't sleep. It was awful. I took sleeping pills. I tried all sorts of things. The sleeping pills helped, but I still had nightmares. So I thought, I'm going to give dream catchers a go. I heard about this, and I started making them out of really nice materials like rocks and gems inside of leather, and I would find real feathers from like eagles and all sorts of animals out at a farm. And learning later, like in the spiritual realm, the spider web is a sign of witchcraft. That's what it means in the spirit. So when you're making that shape inside that circle, you're creating an open door for witchcraft in your house. Ooh. And you think, oh, this thing is gonna catch my bad dreams. Like that's what I think it comes from a Native American tradition. But it's not. Even if your dreams stop when you start using it, you're actually inviting probably spirits into your dreams. You're inviting things into your bedroom while you sleep. Like a lot of people put them on a bedpost or above their pillow or on the wall, and it's like you're inviting demon spirits into your bed.
So if you have dream catchers, take that thing, take it to your burning barrel and burn it. Don't throw it out. Don't give it to nobody else. Burn that thing. If that's an open door to your house, repent for having dream catchers in your house. Renounce that. Close that door, because it's giving the enemy access to your house, right? Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do remember having dreams where these spirit beings came into my dreams. They used me to access me in other ways. Like it's dangerous and it seems simple, but it really isn't.
Okay, next one. Smudging. What can you tell about smudging?
Okay, so when all this poltergeist haunting activity in my house was going on, I needed to do something about it. I didn't know how to get rid of it, right? I actually had gone to a church and asked for a priest to come bless my house. He never did. So I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do this by myself. But when I started searching for information, I found smudging. So a smudge stick is dried herbs in a bundle, like wrapped around. There's like a twine wrapped around the bundle of herbs. Usually sage, sometimes lemongrass or other things are used.
I think people are more like familiar with sage. People sage their house.
Yeah.
You know.
So you light it on fire, start smoking. You go into each room in your house. I used to go around my windows, mirrors, doors, television, anything that was a gateway or a portal or an open door to anything, especially like, yeah, every room. I'd open the cupboards, I'd open my closet doors.
Everything.
And I would start speaking with my intention that only love and light were welcome in my house, and that anything that didn't have my highest interest at heart wasn't allowed. And I started doing this, and after I would do it, it would feel like kind of like a peace in the house. Things would feel calm, but it was more like this like haze in the house. Like it wasn't a real peace. It was more of a counterfeit. It was almost being like under a spell. And it became like I became a slave to it. It was bondage because next thing you know, I needed to smudge my house after any time someone came over, after any argument or someone got sick, or every full moon, every new moon. Like I wanted to do it every week. Like it was, and the spiritual activity just kept getting worse. And things would feel peaceful for a while, but I was actually inviting more of that into my house.
So it actually didn't clear anything out at all.
No, I don't think so. And I heard a shaman lady speaking about this later. She was speaking to an ancestor, probably some familiar spirit, and the spirit told her that it wanted people to smudge their houses and light incense so that the spirits could smell the smell and come and find them. And this spirit told this woman this. So really, you're inviting spirits into your house.
How crazy is that?
When I heard
Wow.
that, I it's undeniable. This spirit told her that we can smell it, so we come to their house. Like it's like an invitation in the spiritual realm.
What can you tell me about medium spirits?
So after I had been into card reading, I did like this. I went to a psychic fair once. I was one of the vendors. I was selling stuff, and I had card reading available. And this woman came to me, and all of a sudden, I started hearing voices from what I thought were dead people, and the things I told this woman from her dead relatives seemed to really help her. She was grieving, and I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could hear spirits, and I thought, oh, I have this gift and I can help people. So that's how I got into mediumship and spiritism, and I started developing this gift of hearing in the spirit these voices. And really, like, it's very dangerous because there was no discernment there. You don't know who you're speaking to. Was it a dead ancestor? Was it a familiar spirit? Was it a demon? I mean, the practice of mediumship is witchcraft. The practice of necromancy or talking to the dead, it's against the rules. It's accessing the spiritual realm in a way that we are not supposed to, and it's very dangerous. We were just at a John Ramirez conference over the weekend, and John was talking about how anybody that gets involved with witchcraft basically lose their mind, lose their family, lose their job.
Yeah, he did
that
say
literally all happened to me. Like, I was in a psych ward a couple months after I started doing this stuff because my house was so full of demons. I didn't feel safe and I didn't know what to do. And I knew I wasn't crazy, like I knew it was real, but I didn't know where else to go. So I literally went to the psych ward because I felt so unsafe and I didn't know how to deal with it.
Well, you have a couple Bible verses written down here. Isaiah 2:6. You can read that one in the Amplified.
For you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob, because they are filled with eastern ways. They are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they are pleased with the children of foreigners. So
Eastern
after
ways.
I had gone into a lot of that card reading, mediumship, the next thing I started getting involved with was Eastern religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, yoga, and Eastern philosophies. So really, like, the spirits I had invited into my life unknowingly were leading me down these other paths, these other religions. Then all of a sudden I've got Hindu statues and Buddha statues in my house, and now I'm committing idolatry and witchcraft, and I don't